All right, what's up everybody? We are back today. We are carrying on the legacy of the BMW build. We are just about complete now that we've got the new wheels. I am ordering tires for that hopefully next Friday. It is Friday today. But today we are going to be putting in a new seat, which I'm very excited for because it's going to spice up the interior a little bit. And we're going to be doing rear camber arms. So very exciting stuff coming today. We're also going to be trying to figure out a new gauge that I got from my buddy Wes, who might be stopping by later. We shall see. But as of now, we are going to get to work pulling out the front seat, and then we are going to be doing those little rear camber arms down there that I've been talking about doing forever. So they finally came in and we are ready to go. Okay, so first order of attack, we are going to get these nuts out on the front and back side of the seat so we can rip it out and see what is going to need to transfer from here to the new seating bracket. I'm very excited about this because it should drop me pretty low in this car. And it's also just going to be a lot more stiff, and it's going to hold on to my hips, them big boy hips, whenever we're swinging it around. So first step, figure out how to get this thing out. Okay, so we got these two bolts out, and now we just have to figure out, we got to get this guy back down so we can get the front two bolts out, and it should be easy from there. All right, front two are out. It was that easy getting those 4 bolts undone. Now we're going to check underneath here, get some of the money back from when I bought this thing. And then we're gonna see if there's anything plugged in because it looks like there is. So we'll take that, swap it to the new seat bracket, and be able to pop that thing right back in. It should be fairly easy, knock on wood. Okay, so Jackson had the bright idea, since we will be messing with the airbag that's underneath the seat, we disconnected the battery, and Jackson taught me some.
Negative never alone, baby. So it don't spark.
Yeah, I never thought about that. So always take off the negative. When I first started working on cars and all that stuff, I could tell you how many times I took off positive, which, looking back on it, really bad idea. But, you know, I lived, it happens, but now we know, negative never alone. All right, so we got that disconnected. This is what it looks like on the underside.
So it's got that cylinder that will fire your seatbelt in an accident. So that's why we got to take off all the
Gotta take off all the fun stuff and then put it on the new seat bracket, which is going to make this thing so low. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be a lot better.
And it's gonna look so good. I put it on my Instagram story, but I blurred out the color just because I wanted it to be somewhat of a surprise. Like I said earlier, I know I'm no big YouTuber, but it's kind of fun to have surprises. So we'll be throwing that guy in here soon once we figure out everything, and then we'll get rolling on the backside. Then we're done. It's really easy today. Okay, so we've just been doing a bunch of test fitting, got the seatbelt on there, and then are kind of trying to figure out how everything's gonna work. This doesn't come with adjustments. You get one and done, which does kind of suck, but it'll be all right. We'll make it work. We are currently, well, I should say Jackson is currently opening this little hole here so we can fit the correct bolts in there. Because we bought 10 mil bolts and they don't fit perfectly, but I'd rather go 10 mil than 8 mil just for rigidity, because I'm going to be beating the crap out of this seat with pressure. I don't want an 8 mil to snap. So we went to 10 mil because 10 mil fits in there. So we're just opening up those to the same size. Then we'll be able to get the seat in and test fit everything, make sure it all works. So we're coming along pretty well. It's going very well so far. That thing is very heavy compared to what I've got now, so that's really nice and pretty seamless. Jackson just spent a good amount of time dremeling out the seat brackets and things like that on the planted seat bracket, so that all of the 10 mils could fit through. Took some persuasion to get everything in, but we got it all in. So the seat that I went with is the NRG Prisma in the highlighter yellowish green. I think it's gonna look sick in there, especially once we get everything else wrapped up, and it'll all look real good. Get some accents on the inside, like the steering wheel. There's a Chase-based steering wheel that I really want that matches that perfectly. So we'll have some different accents and things like this around the outside as well as the inside, but for now, this is gonna be the star piece. So it's gonna be a sweet, sweet look. And now we're gonna go ahead and get everything vacuumed so we can slap it in there and see how it looks. RIP the shop vac. It's done us well, but mid-vacuum on the car, the engine burned out. The motor, I should say, because it's not an engine. The motor burned out. And you could smell it, and it smells like burned electrical fire. But, you know, it's clean enough. This will work. I'm not too worried about it. It's a drift car. So now we get to slap that bad boy in. It's a little cockeyed, but I think it'll work. And we get to test fit everything and make sure it's all good. All right, after cutting after cutting one of the bolts, we were able to get everything in. The bracket made it really hard for one of the rear seat bolts to get in, but this thing looks sick. I think that color actually looks really good in there. I was kind of worried that it wouldn't, but I honestly think that looks really good. So I'm excited. Maybe one day I'll have 2 of them in there, spice it up a little bit, but as of now, everything fits nice and snug. I just have to worry about never getting this thing dirty. So I'll probably be driving on a towel for a couple weeks, but that's not the point. This thing looks awesome. So now we are going to most likely clean everything up and then hop onto the backside for the rear camber adjustment arms, which should be fairly easy.
Yeah, I think so. It's been off a couple times, so no like rusty bolts we gotta take off. So
Yeah.
it should be good.
That'll be the easy part, and we just have to make sure they're adjusted properly, and it's only 4 bolts. 2 on each side. So hoping, fingers crossed that goes well, and then we might take her out and drive it, because you know how it goes. Every time, is your butt dirty? I don't think so.
Oh,
Let's see if Jackson fits.
let's see. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that is planted.
Yeah.
Let's go. Be ready for all these.
Kicking.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah, this thing's sick. So, super exciting. We're going to go ahead and knock that out. But hopefully, whenever we get done, we can take it for a spin. Because you know how it goes. We got to test it out every time we fix it. So, Wes is not coming over. He's being lame. But his brother's in town. He's hanging out with him. So, I can't blame him. So, this thing is really coming along. I really just need to get tires for those. Because it's going to look so much better. So, I'm excited. We're moving along. We're going to go ahead and hop to the back. Okay, now on to the fun part of these bad boys. And this we might include in the video. I haven't decided yet. We're building a little something for my setup, which would be kind of cool. So hopefully we can get there. But these are what's going in now. So they'll go in back. A while ago when I had first taken this rear suspension apart, I said how there was a piece back here that doesn't look very good for drifting, and it's not. So we're replacing it. We're going to put these in, get the new joints, which Jackson had a good point. They are cast Heim joints, which is really weird. But, you know, it's cheaper than going with a full aluminum and then a billet aluminum one, because those are like $600, and these were only like $230. So I'll take that. So we're going to jack her up, knock those 2 out real quick. Make sure these are similar length, because everything matches up in the rear. We don't have to worry about it. So we're going to make sure they're the same length, slap them in, and put it on the floor. All right, so what we are replacing is this guy right here. Jackson's got the power stance going on. Oh. So we're replacing this right here with a adjustable rear camber arm. So these ones are solid. They also run off these little cam bolts. So whenever these turn, it pushes it either out or in, but you don't get a whole lot of adjustment. So we're switching to this guy here. Jackson's starting to rip apart that side, and then I'll maybe do this side, or I'll make Jackson do this side. We'll see. And then we'll put him in. Okay, so it turned out to be a little bit more of a pain in the butt as we thought, but this is the old piece here. As you can see, it flexes pretty easily, and this one is just not going to do that. So it's a little bit more thick, a little bit more sturdy, and if I ever put this thing into a wall, this will hold up a lot more than this will. So we'll be able to adjust it. You can see that it's a little bit shorter on this side than it is here, so we're going to adjust it, and then we can do all of our final adjustments once it's on the car. But we did end up having to take the axle bolts out. I guess you can't really see it, can you? You can see
get this one out.
Yeah, so we had to get that bolt there out that he's messing with. We had to take the axle bolts out to get to that, which was a pain. And it's only going to be more fun on this side because that's where the exhaust sits. So we're just going to knock this out real quick, do our little YouTube magic thing, and we will be back once they are both in. Okay, so don't be like me and cause another problem and say, oh, the axle won't come undone from the diff. And then take apart this whole side of suspension and make it way harder than it needs to be. On the other side, we just popped off the axle and it was fine. On this side, Jackson got down there after I had already taken apart everything and said, you know, we could have just hammered it. And I said, you know, that's a great point. But, you know, we're too far now. We're working on getting the axle back in. This is why we just snappy skipped, did the YouTube magic. It's been fun down there. But it's all going back. We've got one of them in. We've got them lined up. One of them's covered in anti-seize, but that's not the point. That stuff gets everywhere. So that side's going back in. Then we'll be able to tighten everything back up. I will say, props to me, because true coilover is so much easier to work on. because we could just pop it out and we don't have to put everything under compression. So I am hyped about that because it's already come in handy. So we're gonna do this, we're gonna get everything back in, and then hopefully the next time I pick up my phone, everything will be done. But can't make any promises.
All right, so there is the new piece. Exciting, it's in there. That's what it used to look like right here. So now it looks much, much better. So now we're gonna go ahead, there we go. Now we're gonna go ahead, hop to the other side. Gonna get this bad boy in there, and then we're gonna be good.
All right, so this is turning into much more of a fiasco than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be just a couple bolts. Totally wrong. So we got the axle on the left side out, and I was excited. I said, oh, look how easy this bolt's gonna come out. And then it hit the diff. So we've got the rear bolt taken out of the diff, the front two loosened, and we're now trying to move the diff and wiggle it enough to where the bolt will come out, because I really don't want to pull the hill diff out. That's what we're trying to avoid. So once we get this bolt out, it'll just be a pop the new one back in and put everything back together, hopefully. Oh, Jackson got it.
Oh,
There she is.
I like my whiskey.
Check that out. So got the bolt out. Now it's gonna go right back in. That's the cool part, because we're gonna get that. Oh. There it is. Jump. So now we're gonna slap that guy back in there and bolt everything back up and be done.
Easy as that, you know.
Yeah, every time it goes according to plan. The seat went really well. I will say that. The seat went really well. Little bit of modification, but easy modification. That was the good part. We came out of the seat clean. My hands didn't look like this. So not so much on this side of the car, but that's all right. So we're definitely not going to get to this tonight, so that probably won't be a video. What it is we are going to build me a sim seat rig for this. We're going to put that on there and then have it upstairs for my sim. So it'll be really cool. I'll be putting that on my Instagram. If you guys want to follow that, it's west.widener E46, I believe, or it's just west.e46, one of the two. So I'll link that in the description. If you guys want to check that out, it should be done hopefully in the next week or so. I don't know, just whenever we get to it. So we're going to slap this guy back in, button everything up, and it'll be real nice and tidy. All right, we're getting everything bolt checked and put back together and buttoned back up. The only thing that I think we might do after we eat dinner, because it's like 6:30 or 6 o'clock, is run and get a Sawzall bit so we can cut the exhaust off, because the exhaust is right in the way of fixing the alignment. So to make our lives easier, because this is a one-piece exhaust up until I get an axle back, or a cat back, which might be soon, we're just gonna cut that off. And it'll be out of the way, and it'll make everything so much easier. We're just gonna cut off right there. It'll sound the exact same. Nothing's gonna change. So hopefully, whenever I buy my tires for this week, hopefully I'll also be able to buy an exhaust. I'm not really counting on it, but I might be able to. So I'm strictly commissioned in the work that I do, so it really just depends on what my paycheck week to week looks like. So hopefully I will be able to buy exhaust, but fingers crossed. So if I do, that'll be another really, really cool upload before we go out to Wisconsin. This thing's really, really close to being done. And once we do get it done for Wisconsin, I'm gonna do a build breakdown and a cost breakdown, because I have no idea how much I'm into this car right now. I think if I had to take a guess, I'd probably be close to $8,000 in this car right now, based off of everything that we've just done, because the seat and those camber arms alone were about $1,000. So based off everything, I think I'm close to $8,000, including the car, because I wanted to keep this build under 10 grand just to show that you can do a budget drift car. And I was able to pick stuff up for cheap along the way, like these. I have a buddy, Casey, that was able to help me and weld things that not a lot of other people have the advantage of taking. So I can't really consider those into the build, but you can do it on a budget. So I'll go through, do a build breakdown once everything's all completed and we have everything ready to go for Wisconsin, which is in the end of September. And you'll get to see a lot of other cool cars that I'll be driving with. Hopefully it goes well. I haven't really driven this car as it sits right now, but it'll be some good seat time. Everything's buttoned back up. Underneath, we just need to tighten both of the arms that we had put in there, but we are going to do that after we cut the exhaust off. So we're gonna eat real quick, wash our dirty little mitts, and go upstairs, eat, run, grab some tools or saw, drill things, and then cut it off and tighten everything up and put it back in. So there's a little bit of camber you can see, kind of exciting, so I can break this thing loose a little bit easier, but I am very excited about the progress we have made today. And another thing I forgot to mention that I am going to buy before I go to Wisconsin is stud conversions, because any of my Beamer boys out there know that lug studs, these things right here are the devil. They are horrible because you have to get the wheel up, and then once you get the wheel up, you can drive it in instead of just putting the wheel on the stud. So we're gonna do a conversion for that, and that'll be done before Wisconsin. So we will be right back. All right, it is now the next day. Unfortunately, I did not do any filming today because Jackson wrapped everything up while I was at work. He went through and cut off a little piece of the exhaust, which is now right here, just so we could make it a little bit easier if we needed to get back under there down in the future. But then he also tightened everything up, made sure my alignment was all good. And now that it's on the ground, you can see there is a little bit more camber, but that actually helped out a lot. I went and did a little bit of testing in a open parking lot that we have over here, and it was really, really good. So I'm very excited. This car now is really, really close to being done. Just gotta get some tires, gotta get some exhaust, and she is ready to rock. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around, checking everything out. We are going to get to building my new sim rig, and I'll be uploading that on Instagram, and I'll also have some clips of me driving on Instagram as well. So check that out. Leave me a follow if you want to see what else we have coming for this car, and then drop a like if you really appreciate the videos that I've been uploading. I'm trying to do my best and keep this thing rolling. So peace.